and welcome to the Wheel of Crime podcast, the podcast where two ladies play games, shout profanities, and laugh way too often. Also, this podcast does cover topics of sensitive nature, and as such, listener discretion is advised. Where are you, Jen?
Sorry, my things were falling. Yes, hello and welcome to the Wheel of Crime podcast. My name is Jenn.
My name is Emily. I was just looking at Jen and she had this faraway look in her eye and I was like, are you here with us? Is Jennifer here with us? Speak to me now.
It's also pitch black in my office while I'm recording, so I'm sure Emily's like, is she awake? Asleep?
Yeah, you're just sleeping with your eyes open. I feel like I've done that.
Is she in the room
with
us right now?
Is she here with us? Pretty much.
Yeah,
Jen, what have you been up to? How have you been enjoying your late summer?
Well, when you guys are listening to this, I'll be in Italy. So I love that for me.
I love that for you too. Not at all jealous. Only kind of.
Rubbing it in a little.
I want something cool. I don't care where it's from.
I'll get you something cool, of course.
Yeah.
It's literally been on my mind since we booked this trip. I was like, when am I going to bring Emily back?
I love it. I love when Jen travels and brings me cool souvenirs. I love it more when we travel together and we buy souvenirs for other people. But
it's
that's
true.
neither here nor there.
It's true. Next year.
Next year.
Going.
Yes.
But yeah, I've just been trying to enjoy the summer. I've been doing my tennis lessons, so that's been a nice thing to actually get me out of the house and enjoy it a little bit.
Do you feel like you've been improving?
I have. I feel like I've been building some muscle in my back from because it's just so here's the situation. I signed up for a group class, okay? You know, I was not trying to do anything fancy. I don't even know if I like tennis when I booked this, right? So I just was like, yeah, I'll just sign up for this group class. It's cheaper, and then maybe I can meet some people, whatever. Learn how to play and see if I even enjoy it.
Yeah.
What ended up happening, I guess, because tennis is not that popular of a sport, I guess. So a group lesson turned into a private lesson.
Ooh, okay.
So so the private lessons that I could have booked were an hour long, 45 minutes to an hour long. Mm-hmm. This group class, the class length is an hour and a half because they have extra time to accommodate for the instructor time being split up. Mm-hmm. But now I just have an hour and a half of constant one-on-one time, so it is a real fucking workout, and holy shit, my body hurts after.
Mm-hmm. I honestly think though that's kind of neat in its own way, where it's you could have signed up for something shorter or something longer, and in the way that you're doing it now, it gives you more of an opportunity to, like you said, build muscle and get a little bit of training in it to challenge yourself, because I almost feel if it's a personal training thing, it's one-on-one and you're done when you feel you're done, basically. Mm-hmm. If it's a group training thing, it's oh no, I'm in it.
Literally. And that's why I wanted to sign up for the class, because I was it's going to hold me accountable to actually get me outside and do something other than work. Mm-hmm. And anyone who knows me in my personal life knows I was once a really fit person. I am no longer that girl, though.
Jen's always been the queen of soccer.
Yeah, I have not prioritized fitness in a long time, and it's challenging to get back into.
Preach it, sister.
Really, honestly, I'm after my first class, I was holy fuck, I don't even know if I could do that. And then the second class, I felt I was oh, that was a little bit easier than last time, which is kind of a nice feeling.
See, I had a very eye-opening experience where I went camping, and then on this camping trip, some people wanted to go fishing, but it involved kind of climbing down a slope to get to the river, and then you got to go back up the slope at the end. Yeah. I nearly lost my life going up that slope. Wasn't even that steep. Wasn't even that long. I was the last person up there. Like, literally every person I went to, it was like a group of 7 of us, had beat me to the top of this hill and had to physically wait for me to catch up because I just was not having it. I was like, you know what? I am not the person I once was.
I know, and it's, I don't know. I feel like as we get older, which is a horrible sentence to say, I really don't want to be that person who like loses my mobility. And I think like watching your mom actually has like really inspired me of being like, I feel like, you know, you can get really fit at any point in your life, and just because like, just because I'm not fit now doesn't mean it's too late for me.
Yeah.
And not that your mom was unfit before, because she's literally been like amazingly fit her whole life. But like, it's just like, it's so cool to see someone like still doing what she's doing. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I find it really inspiring. No, and I hope she listens to this episode.
Me too. Well, and I totally get that too. I was having a good think the other day because I was just kind of looking around at the people I surround myself with, and I was like, yeah, it's interesting, kind of like as people get older, they kind of look like their job, and they look like these different things and whatever. Mm-hmm. And the more I thought about that, I was like, it really is just your daily habits literally turn you into a certain kind of person. And then I was like, well, what kind of person do I want to be? Like, what do I want to make my daily habits to become a certain kind of person? So that's kind of been like my thing, where I'm not there yet mentally, but I do want to be mentally back into the place where I do work out and do some of these other things, because I don't necessarily want to look like the person who just
goes to the gym all day.
Yeah, I want to look like somebody who actually does something. So like, I've been trying to do like different self-care things, like learning more about like things to eat every day. Like, not necessarily going on a diet, but like being more mindful of like, what should I be eating that would probably be good for me, or like, what are some things that I struggle with that I can fix in my day-to-day life, or just stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm. It's true. And like, I don't know. I feel like my goal for myself in like the next few years is just to like be a healthier version of myself, because I feel like I know myself, and I know like I'm never gonna be like, not that I couldn't. I just like, personally, I'm like, I'm never gonna be the girl who goes to the gym twice a day. That's just not my vibe. You know?
You say that though, and then you could be, because that was another thing I was thinking about the other day. Is there's so many things that I've said to myself, I will never like that. I will never be this person. And then I was thinking about this recently, and I was like, forever and ever, I've hated lettuce, right?
Yeah, I know.
The other day, I have a kind of lettuce that I actually like, and I was like, weird. If I looked at myself today, I'd be like, who's that bitch? Why are you out here eating lettuce like a loser?
Stupid idiot.
You idiot. But even things like that, or I used to talk to people, and people would be like, or what's your least favorite color? And I used to always say orange. I realized the other day, I've been actively buying things in orange because I like the color. And I'm like, what has happened to me? But this is what I mean. You can't just say, oh, I'll never be like that. Or, oh, I'm not that kind of person, because you get humbled. You get humbled. And the universe is like, look at you. Idiot.
Going to the gym twice a day. It's not that I could never be. It's just like
things in orange.
I feel like, okay, maybe the better way to phrase it is, that's not my end goal or my priority. Like, not that it never could happen. It's just like, right now, my priority is not going to the gym twice a day.
Yeah, it's not on your radar.
But like, you know, exercising daily is in some way. You know?
It's just something small, right? I know. I'd like
steps.
To be there too. I feel like even something as simple as yoga, like stretching regularly, would do a world of difference.
Exactly. I mean, I do go for walks every day because of my dog. So that's something. Yeah. But I wanted like a little bit more, you know, a little bit more effort into like my mental and physical well-being, because I have just trashed my mental well-being. Like, not to go on a whole ass tangent, but like I just, you know, it's just a fact of like,
no, you don't have to justify it to me, because I'm literally on the same page as you. I also was looking recently at like overall well-being, and I'm like, I just do a lot of things that aren't building myself up really. It's more of just like kind of like getting by or maintaining. And do I really want to just get by or maintain?
I don't. I'm so tired of just like barely getting by, and like I want to start building something better for myself and like building those habits. And
you can look back at yourself a year from now and be like, I'm proud of you, bitch.
You did it, and now it's easier because I did it
Yeah.
then.
Exactly. So I like that
Ugh.
we're on the same wavelength. You hear?
I love that.
We'll just do a little bit of fingers into the camera
The
together. We are going to
brainworms
do
are coming
this.
back
We're gonna
together
make
after
this
a long
work.
break.
Yeah. Oh my God. And then hopefully some of our listeners identify with this too, because it may be a sign of the times. Not totally sure, but maybe not.
I'm sure someone out there knows what we're saying and can relate. I
Exactly.
guarantee it.
Exactly. Because, yeah, I've also not been really up to anything too exciting lately or conducive. So I've been trying to convince myself to not start up another stupid book series that's 100% smut.
Not yet. We got to do our fourth wing first.
I know, but I got two wolves in my head, and one of them says I have to read smut, and the other one says no, you have to read fantasy. And then sometimes they kiss, and that's how you end up with a romantasy book, which is great, but not always.
We love a romantasy.
We love romantasy, but it is your episode today, so I'm very curious on what your questions are going to be for me, and to see if I can guess it.
All right, well, let's spin the wheel and get right into it. How long does it take you to fully trust someone?
Ooh, that's a that's a big
Loaded.
one to unpack. I actually am not super trusting, which we might have talked about on the show before. Jen knows this for sure, because her and I had a conversation kind of recently about how I've had friends of mine that I've been friends with for like 7 years, and just last year I started calling them my friends. That's how deep the trust issues run.
Mm-hmm. I know. I feel like it takes you a while. I feel like you, especially, this is what I'm observing as someone who's known you a long time. I feel like, especially in your adulthood, it's taken you a lot longer to like fully trust. I feel like you used to be very trusting. Like when we first became friends in middle school, I feel like you were one of the most like immediately trusting people, and I feel like a part of you got broken at some point.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Not even that. I mean, that's a big part of it. Definitely broken. But the other part of it too is that I just find that there's some people who, it's not like people aren't worth trusting. That's not really the lesson that I've learned. It's more like I just understand that there's different types of people now, and I'm very selective about like who I want to be in my inner circle, because at the same time, whoever's
I
in
think
your
that's
inner
fair
circle
though.
impacts you subconsciously so much. So I'm like, if there's gonna be people that I'm like hanging out with and spending time with, like in a way where it's actually like an intimate, genuine friendship, like I want those to be people who are
good and like deserving of my time and energy, you know?
Yeah, like an investment. I like to invest into my friendships with people. I feel
Yeah,
like that's
I totally get
thing,
it.
Right?
Okay, well, I psychoanalyzed you, so now you psychoanalyzing me, obviously.
Okay, fine. You're definitely more trusting as an adult than I am, I think. There's been people with your time on being like, oh yeah, like I have these friends or whatever. But I wouldn't say that you're like immediately friends with people either. I do still feel like that time investment's there. For you, it's mostly like coworkers will be people that you'll introduce me to and be like, this is my friend. So like maybe like a year or two versus to my like 7 years. But that kind of tracks.
I find it really hard to meet anyone outside of work because all I do is work.
Yep. Versus I actually think you were definitely more trusting, actually, now that I think. But I was going to say less trusting. When we were kids, you were definitely more trusting, but you were still very selective. Like, if
I think a part of me also got broken, though. Like, I genuinely feel like we were both traumatized as children and became, like, significantly, like,
became these, like, bitter old people, pretty much.
Literally.
But I would say, like, you're not as far gone as you could be. Like, but I
neither
would
are
say,
you.
like, when we were kids, you were definitely, like, more selective, I would say. Not that you're not selective now, but it's just, like, different, right? Like, whereas, like, I feel like when you were a kid, you were like, I want to be friends with this specific kind of people because I have a specific vision of myself, and if you don't fit into it, get the fuck out.
I think that, yeah, you're kind of right.
I know, because I was one of your friends. I've been there. I was
I
in the
definitely had a
war,
vision.
Jen.
I had a vision as a child. I don't know if I
did.
have a vision anymore.
You were trying to rebuild the cast of Hannah Montana, I think, in your head, but with
Literally.
yourself as
I
Hannah
was like,
Montana.
okay, guys, I'm Hannah, who's filling out the cast.
The rest of you figure it out.
Like,
Who's
you can be
left?
Oliver, I guess, and
Who's
you can be
next?
Lily.
Yeah, pretty much.
You're Robbie Ray, obviously.
Duh.
Duh.
Duh. But no, that's really fun though. All right, I'm ready. Should we go for our next question?
Yeah, spin away. What would it take for someone to break your trust?
Not much. No, but like for real, it depends on what it is, but for somebody to break my trust, I honestly feel like the most definitive thing is, have I made a genuine investment into you, and what have you given me in return? Like, not even as like I'm expecting a trade out of all of my relationships, but I feel like if you're friends with somebody, it's because they bring value into your life. And if I have, like I said, made that investment, and what I'm getting back is either like toxic or very self-centered or just very self-serving, I would consider that to be like a wasted investment and not worthy of trust. So then whatever I've given, I just take it back.
You're rescinding your investment?
Yeah.
Fair enough. I feel like for me,
sense?
yeah, I totally get where you're coming from. I think for me, like, it takes a little bit more, maybe. I feel like I'm pretty, because I feel like I am selective with the friends that I do have. So then it takes more to break my trust, because I feel like to get to that point of like, I consider you like a friend. You're in my inner circle. Like, we are, you know, it takes more, I think, because I'm like, I already have built this thing with you for a while.
Right. But then for me, it's like, but if you're, so it's okay I think it's okay to be willing to excuse X amount of things, whatever you're comfortable with. But if that's what it turns into, is always making excuses for somebody else, then I'm kind of like, yeah, I don't know.
For me, it's like, I don't know. I've always had this weird thing of like, I hate the flakiness of some people where you make plans with them and they cancel, and it's like, whatever. That's like annoying in its own way. But then it's like the blatant lying to your face about why, when I'm like, we're supposed to be friends. Why can't you just be honest with me and be like, I don't feel like it? I would understand that, because I probably also don't feel like it.
Well, and people are so, at least from my own life experience, allergic to honesty to the point where it's like if, say, for example, something's happened where we're supposed to be hanging out, like me and somebody else, and we're going for coffee, and then it's like you just said, and then they're like, oh no, I can't, my sister's in the hospital, and then you end up finding later on they went to like a party or something. I would have rather just been told, hey, I didn't realize that when I made plans with coffee with you that I'd already made plans with somebody else. This is kind of a big deal to them. It's like they're whatever. Can I reschedule coffee with you? Or we could do something else. I really need to go to this tonight. I feel like that's a way better way to approach that situation.
It's like, we're both adults. I feel like I have very reasonable expectations of people, where it's like, we are both busy. We both have full schedules. We both have lives. Whatever. We have X amount of things going on. It doesn't matter. Like, it's okay. If you don't want to hang out, like, it's not going to hurt my feelings. I promise.
Even if it's like, say, like the day of, and you're like, yeah, sorry, like, I get that we're going to hang out this evening, but just so you know, like, my day's kind of packed, and like, more than anything, I just want to go home and cry myself to sleep. I'd be like, okay, sure.
I'd be like, that's honestly
super reasonable, actually.
It literally does, and that's the thing. That's like, I've cut out a couple of people for this reason of like, you're lying to my face and I know you are. Like, I had one friend who told me once, because I was like, I was like, kind of complaining. I was like, I have plans with this person and I just don't feel like it. Like, I'm tired. I just want to cancel, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, oh, just tell them this excuse. Oh. And then I kind of have always had that in the back of my head. And then it came to an important event for me, like something pre-planned, a party that I had invited her to that was like something of significance. I'm kind of being vague on purpose. And she literally texted me that excuse. And I was just like, it could be real. But like, I'm really doubting you now.
But I know it's not. Yeah.
I'm like, you already put the seed of doubt in my head when you told me to just make up an excuse, because I hate that. And if you knew me at all, you would know how much I fucking hate that. Yeah. And then you did it. And it just...
Well, because it's also like, at that point, I think, disrespectful of your friendship and your boundaries, especially if you know somebody well enough to know what kinds of things are like super no bueno with them.
If you're friends enough to be invited to something that's important to a person, you know? Like, I'm just like, there's limited space. Like, we didn't invite a ton of people because I wanted to keep things simple, intimate. I could have invited someone else, but you took up a spot and I wanted you there, and now you're blowing me off like this. Like, it's just... It's so rude. I cannot stand it. Oh my god, I'm getting mad.
This is probably this is probably why our friendship works really well, because I literally just tell you whatever's up.
Yeah, you're like I don't feel good. I can't do it tonight. Sorry.
I like, literally just shit my pants. I can't come tonight. And you're like, actually, cool. That's super valid.
I'm like, awesome. I actually did not want to talk to you at all tonight.
Or thank you so much for canceling. My favorite has been, hey, I understand that this is super short notice, but like I'm almost about to fall asleep. So TTYL, and you're like, okay, fair and valid.
Literally. And I think, I don't know. I just feel like it's important in a friendship to be able to have that conversation of like, I like you. We're friends still, but I just don't want to see you tonight. And it's not personal. It's just I'm feeling lazy, or I'm tired, or I've had a bad day, or whatever the fucking actual reason is. Just say it. Oh my god. We need to stop. We need to move on.
I know. Let's
I could go on forever.
Next question. All right.
If you were going to start your own business, what would it be?
Oh, we totally talked about this before. I want it to be a cafe with cats and like a boutique thrift store, but also
and a bookstore.
But also a bookstore. What else? Oh, and plants. Also a greenhouse. Plants. Yes.
Yeah. And I co-own this with you. And we have a wine cellar in the basement.
Yes. And it's a speakeasy.
Yes. Cafe, bookstore, thrift shop.
I'm in. Let's go.
Whatever by day. Speakeasy by night.
I love the idea of like it being like a 3-story. Like the basement's the speakeasy and the wine cellar, but then like the upstairs could be like the bookstore and like the plants and stuff. Like get a book, like sit down, like smell some plants, and then maybe the cats could be up there too, because then they're not in the way of like the middle business, which would be like the boutique thrift and like a coffee shop.
Oh, love that. Let's open it. Let's apply for a small business loan.
Let's do it. Let's do it right now. Let's go.
Oh, okay, I'm already at the bank.
I love that for us. Okay. I'm trying to think. You have one more question, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's spin for it.
Okay, we're going to end with a very philosophical question.
Ooh, philosophy.
Can you ever really know a person?
No.
I don't think so either. I think like you can know a lot about a person and like know them in a way, but like I think there will always be parts of people who, like even you, I know you very well, but there will always be parts of you that I don't know.
Exactly. But I think that's also kind of like, I would argue that I think it's impossible, not even just because like, say like what you just said, like we know each other so well, but even then there's always going to be inside thoughts. That's not even a comment about the here and now. People change so much and do different things every day and learn so much and are exposed to different things. Like, even the people you know really well are going to be changing, and it's going to be in very small ways, but it's still going to happen. So it's not ever going to be possible to 100% know somebody, because you don't even know 100% of them now, and you're not going to know more of them moving forward. If anything, you're just going to learn more different things.
And it's not like there's like not really any person who's with you every moment of your life, every second of your day, for every stage of your life. Like, not even your parents.
But even if somebody is, it's not like you're vocalizing every single thought that runs through your head either, right?
It's true. Yeah, that's true.
And some people might, but that still isn't going to like excuse the things you think when you're looking at your phone, or when you're reading a book, or doing something else, or watching a movie. What you're receiving from those different things is going to be completely different than what somebody else is receiving.
It's true. So I guess we agree.
Not even agree to disagree. Just agree.
Just agree.
Just agree. I love that about you.
I love that about you.
All right. I'm gonna guess that your story today is there is a guy and he owns a business with another guy. And then the one guy starts lying. He's probably stealing money, and he's not being honest about what it is. And the other guy's like, "I'm gonna fucking kill you," and then he does, and that is the end.
Well, there is murder, so you got it kind of right.
I guess every time that there's murder, and I'm usually not 100% correct, so.
It's true.
Yeah.
But let's just jump right on into it. This is a pretty viral story, so you may have heard parts of it or all of it. I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
So Anthony Tony Todt was born on September 29th, 1975 to his parents Robert and Loretta in Bensalem, Pennsylvania. His father was a high school teacher and a serial womanizer, making home life difficult. One of his dad's many affairs was with a 17-year-old student, another was with a young nurse, and that affair had gone a little too far. Robert and the nurse began to solidify plans for their wedding. They had already talked to their priest in her parish and announced the engagement to her friends and family. This is when Robert felt the pressure of his multiple lives building. So he approached a 19-year-old named John Chermonte, one of his former students who had significant learning disabilities, and told him about an important assignment. Robert gave John a gun and a key to his house. He planned to be out on a particular night and told John to sneak into the home's front bedroom and kill the person lying asleep in bed. However, there was one thing that Robert didn't consider when he enlisted John for the job. It was that John was struggling with addiction and was drunk as he walked through the Todd house. He was clumsy and he bumped into something as he made his way into the front bedroom, waking Loretta. She sort of sat upright as he fired the gun, one of the prosecutors later said. He fired at her at a little bit of a distance, and the bullet went into her left eye, and he took off. John, who was still drunk, ran out of the house. Overwhelmed, he stopped to vomit in the front lawn. But John hadn't just woken up Loretta, he had woken up 4-year-old Tony. There were inconsistencies between Loretta and Tony's police testimony and the prosecution's case. Both Loretta and Tony told police there were 2 men in the house that night, while the prosecution's case included only John. Police also found evidence of 2 shots fired, not one, and one detective believed the first shot couldn't have been fired from the foot of the bed as John testified. But one thing was clear, Loretta had been shot in the head. She was rushed to the hospital and survived. The bullet pierced her left eye and lodged near her brain. The prosecutor said she should have been dead. So, with a missing eye and a bullet still sitting in her skull, Loretta watched the lengthy trial against her husband and remained convinced of his innocence. She just didn't believe it, the prosecutor said. I said to her, "What more are we going to have to show you?" Robert also adamantly maintained his innocence and even testified in his own defense. He insisted that the near murder was a home invasion. Robert was a very convincing, charming sort of guy, but he was also absolutely cold and remorseless. After weeks of testimony and evidence, the prosecutor made his closing argument and appealed to the jury to see through Robert's lies. He can be acquitted, the prosecutor remembers saying, and he can be set free. All he has to do is fool the 12 of you. The jury refused to be fooled. Robert served a total of 10 years in prison. Thank God.
Yeah.
So, several years after the conviction, after Loretta had moved from Pennsylvania to Connecticut and divorced her husband, she finally accepted that Robert tried to have her killed. Eventually, there was some recognition that, hey, this happened, the prosecutor said. Eventually, she came around. It took years. From his vantage point, the prosecutor said it seemed Loretta and Robert's fiancé were both fooled by his charm, good looks, and gift of gab, which I think we both have the gift of gab in a different way.
100%, yes.
It seemed that Loretta hadn't seen any indications that he was this kind of person, the prosecutor said. So I feel so bad for her because I just feel like that's classic abuser, like being in a domestic, like a bad domestic place situation.
Oh, absolutely. And it would be so hard to like you said, for this type of relationship, you already kind of suspect how hard things are, and then on top of that, you have to wrap your head around like he literally hired somebody to kill me. Like things are already bad enough, and then you just have to add that on top of that. I would putting myself into the mindset of what somebody might be feeling in that moment. I can't even imagine having to wrap your head around that on top of everything else. Like, it's already bad. You don't think it can get worse, and then this is worse. Like, by, like, a lot. Like,
she experienced that, like, both physical and mental trauma, so I would assume it would be really hard to, like, have mental clarity in that moment.
Oh, absolutely, right?
Yeah. So, a little fun fact before we get into the meat of our story. The prosecutor also noted that in German, the family name means death. So, a little omen to start.
At that point, I'd be like, family name or family curse? At what point?
Which is that?
At what point, which is which?
Yeah. So, Loretta realized this whole situation was probably pretty traumatizing for young Tony and tried to help with therapy and unconditional love. The therapy and familial love helped. However, he always suffered from nightmares. Tony adjusted to life as best as he could, though he continued to need support from his family, which makes sense. So in high school, he met and started dating a girl named Megan. The couple ended up making it through high school together and decided to attend the same university, Sacred Heart University. One of their friends from uni, Gina, recalled that Megan and Tony adored each other and were high school sweethearts. Gina also said that Megan was so kind-hearted, she never had anything bad to say about anyone, was always smiling and encouraging, wise beyond her years. I remember looking over at a smiling Megan one day in the class we were both taking. I think it was psychology, and thinking to myself, that girl has the world at her fingertips. Megan was the type of person who had it all, yet was humble. Tony was a residential advisor in the townhouses I lived in, and he was always there to offer help or advice to all the residents with roommate conflicts and what have you. He was just an all-around people person, which is kind of amazing.
Yeah.
For someone who came from the situation he did.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, after university, Megan had obtained her master's and became a physical therapist and a yoga instructor. The couple worked together at a shared physical therapy clinic that they owned. Megan and Tony got married and relocated to Colchester, Connecticut, where Tony ran his own busy physical therapy practice. The couple purchased their house in Colchester in 2006, which, interesting timing. They had 3 kids together, 2 sons, Alec and Tyler, and a daughter named Zoe. After their children were born, Megan became a stay-at-home mom while Tony managed their clinic. The family was well known by neighbors, and the Todt children were encouraged to get involved in the arts and the music scene around town. Tony often volunteered as a youth soccer coach and also worked with disabled children. Long life friends of Megan said that she was an amazing mom and very hands-on with her kids. Her friend Jennifer Corbett Clerkin said, as a kid, Megan was even considered the mother of her group of friends. Megan was always putting together fun activities for us, watching from the life cycles of butterflies to organizing street cleanups. How come you never organized stuff like that for me, Emily?
Girl, you and I went to the street cleanup together.
You didn't organize it, though. I think I did.
No, I didn't organize it. I've done other things.
So, by all accounts, Tony was a very loving father and stayed involved in his children's lives. He was conscious about being there for his kids and being a better father than his dad, Robert. Okay, the bar's on the ground, but cool. It's good.
The bar's literally in hell, but
yeah, like the bar does not exist, but okay, good for you. Yeah. In 2017, according to Tony, Megan contracted Lyme disease after a tick bite during a trip to Walt Disney World. She then suffered from bouts of depression and became more reserved and isolated. Meanwhile, Tony's physical therapy business was seemingly doing very well, so much so that the family purchased a home in Celebration, Florida, directly outside of Orlando's various theme parks. And while Megan and the kids lived down there, Tony still worked in Connecticut, but would fly out to Florida on the weekends to be with the family, which seems like a weird setup, but I don't know.
It is, but I guess whatever works for them, I suppose.
Yeah, it just seems odd, but like, I guess if that's what works. So this is the arrangement that the family had for about 2 years. Tony bought other condos that he would rent out to family vacationers, which weren't as lucrative of a venture as he may have expected. All of the family extravagances were beyond their means. It often left Tony scrambling for small loans, and when that cash ran out, he sought alternative methods. Bobby Sedgwick, who had been the Todd's piano teacher since September 2018, said that Megan homeschooled the boys and was part of a local co-op of homeschooling parents. They had it together, Bobby said. Zoe was quiet but a curious 4-year-old. Alec was very smart and determined. Tyler liked to ask loads of questions. He'd really dig into a conversation. Megan almost always cooked from scratch. My son had a few surgeries, and she was sure to send home meals with me to take some of the stress off of us. Tony was a comedian. He loved to keep the room laughing. I never caught a whiff of any financial, home, or work problems. Bobby said that Tony was not always home. He said, in the beginning, very rarely was he home. Last year, after they moved to the rental home, he was almost always home when I visited, she said. So, Tony was also involved in the Colchester Business Association and Colchester Soccer Club, and he treated a lot of student athletes as a physical therapist, according to a man who knew him through coaching. By 2019, Tony had gained significant amount of weight and received a diagnosis of diabetes. Desperate to keep his lifestyle, he searched within his own business for extra money. He billed patients and their insurance companies for hours he was not performing his therapeutic services. He would use that money to pay off the various short-term loans he had received from creditors. The exorbitant amount of claims plus patients' inability to contact him for their appointments made law enforcement suspicious. So he had been licensed to practice physical therapy in Connecticut since 1999, but his license expired due to non-renewal at the end of September 2019, according to Connecticut records. By that point, agents had already been surveying Tony's 2 offices and found that he was billing people for services on days that they were closed. On insurancenewsnet.com, it was reported that the amount of debt attributed to Tony and his businesses led to 3 civil judgments involving creditors totaling more than $500,000. The FBI interviewed Tony and he admitted to the fraud, which is so fucking stressful and crazy.
That's insane. Insane. Oh,
like, can you even imagine?
There's no way you're doing that and then not realizing you're gonna get caught, right?
Like, unless you're just completely delusional about the situation, which he could be. Man is not making smart choices.
No, definitely not long smart term choices. Sure, smart long term choices. That's not what's happening.
No. So around Thanksgiving 2019, he closed his practices and told the agents that he was going to Florida and would be back in early December. Employees, many of whom were missing paychecks, were told that he'd be back sometime after Christmas. Agents continued their investigation while maintaining a watchful eye on him. It is believed by investigators that Megan and the kids had no idea about the fraud as they were uninvolved with the business. Over the years, liens had been placed on the condo that the family owned in Celebration, just blocks from their rental home in Florida. On December 22nd, the landlord of the family's condo filed an eviction notice serving the family on December 26th. The eviction suit was filed over alleged non-payment. Sometime in December before Christmas, Tony said that he had to go to one of their rental properties to retrieve a Mickey Mouse necklace for Zoe and perform a couple of repairs. Although it was only a short distance down the road, Tony planned on staying overnight at the other home because Megan used essential oils that irritated his sinuses and he also snored heavily. So maybe this is why they live in different states. I don't know.
The snoring is so bad. He's like, I can hear it 1 state away. You gotta move farther.
Get out. Fucking move to LA.
Yeah.
He played basketball with the boys while Megan prepared a dessert inside. The boys asked him if he was going to go inside and eat it with them. He said that he wasn't because he was trying to lose weight. So he drove over to the condo. When he arrived, he decided to take a nap in the van instead of going inside. Which is weird if you're planning on staying the night there anyways.
Yeah. Would you not just go inside since that is your crib for the night? Why would you sit in the car? That's uncomfortable.
And weird.
Yeah.
According to Tony, he woke up early in the morning and tried starting his van to drive back home. The van wouldn't start, so he ran back.
Running.
He ran. he just ran.
Oh, naturally, that's what you do when things go.
Yeah.
When your car doesn't start, you just run. No cab.
That's what I do. Personally.
Never even crossed his mind. He's just like, I gotta put these legs into gear. It's time to sprint.
Yeah, the wind is calling me.
The pavement calls me in a way that it cannot be denied.
I must run. So when he finally finished running home, inside he noticed a partially eaten pie that contained a Benadryl and rushed to find his family. He found his wife, who seemed eerily calm, but started claiming she had delusions to kill the children to release their souls. He found all the children dead, and this is when Megan took a bunch of Benadryl and stabbed herself. Tony says he was in such a stupor, he blacked out after the crimes. I came home and my kids were dead. It was the most horrible day of my life. What made it more horrible was that my wife died in front of me also, Tony said. Except that's not what happened at all. That was a complete fucking lie.
Oh, you're telling
Tony's
me
a liar.
Benadryl. What was it?
A Benadryl pie.
You're telling me the Benadryl Pie was a lie?
The Ben and Joe
Shocking.
pie was a lie.
Oh no, not the lie pie.
It is a lie
Not the lie pie
pie.
you ran home for. Stupid.
I mean, I wish it was a Mai Tai, but it's a lie pie.
Not the lie pie. I ordered a Mai Tai. It's totally
So Tony...
different.
Totally different. So Tony later claimed that he and his wife decided to kill the kids and themselves because Megan had been watching videos about how to achieve salvation because of the coming apocalypse. So he goes from my wife killed herself and her children because of a lie pie to actually the apocalypse. Never mind.
You didn't know this, but
like actually that's a huge part of the story. Obviously. So Tony says everybody needed to die in order to pass over to the other side together. He claimed that he and his wife talked to the children about dying and said to them, quote, "Kids, we want to die with you." And obviously, if you haven't caught on already, this apocalypse story was another lie.
You mean to tell me he didn't sit his kids around in a circle and be like, "Kids, you know me, Papa. The apocalypse is coming.
It's time to die."
Would you not all like to die together as the next family activity? We know you like Disney World, don't get me wrong. But what if instead of that, what if we just die together? This is better than Mickey. I really feel like this is something we could all do.
Yeah, clearly. Yeah, the man can't stop himself from lying. So in reality...
He's a terrible liar.
Yeah, like the most absurd things that you could think of. He's like, that was obviously what happened, right? You believe me, right?
No, you're right. It's the apocalypse. No, wait.
Actually, I just ran home so fast they all died.
It's just the winds, the speed of sound. It caught up to me and it just ran through the house and went shoom. And I came in and everybody was dead. It was crazy.
It was fucking crazy. But no, actually in reality,
I'm never going to run ever again. And that's
you know
to
what?
save you guys.
That's valid though.
Yeah. It's
So
for people.
Yes. So in reality, Tony killed his youngest child, Zoe, first. Tony sat on his daughter's bed for hours before he ultimately suffocated her with a pillow. "I needed to save her soul. I wanted her to be with us," Tony later said. He then stabbed and suffocated both of his sons. He claimed his wife stabbed herself in the stomach, and when she failed to kill herself, he claimed he suffocated her with the pillow. I don't really believe that.
That sounds like something a psychopath would say.
Yeah, that sounds like he stabbed her and then suffocated her when that didn't work.
Yeah.
That's what I think. That's just an opinion.
Yeah. Speculation.
Yeah. So when everybody was dead, he took all of their bodies and placed them in the master bedroom. Tony said he wanted to join his deceased family members on the other side. "That's where I want to be." However, the autopsy later showed that Megan could not have possibly stabbed herself with the angle of the wound. Duh. Yeah. What a shock. He lied again.
Yeah, so shocking.
So Tony's sister kept in regular contact with the family. After not hearing from them for days, she decided to alert authorities. She told them that she was concerned because her brother was under investigation for healthcare fraud in Connecticut and had been making strange comments. Tony had said that the whole family had gotten sick, some kind of bug, given his sister another reason to be alarmed when she heard nothing from them. She asked for a wellness check, and the police performed an initial welfare check on December 29th, but when they saw no sign of the family and nothing suspicious, the police thought that maybe they were out of town and had no cause to enter the home. About 2 weeks later, Tony's sister called the police down in Florida, hoping they would do another wellness check after still receiving no contact from the family. The FBI was also wondering where he was. So on January 13th, 2020, after disturbing cell phone texts began appearing on the family members' phones from Tony, local and federal authorities went back to the house to arrest Tony on his fraud charges. Tony wandered out of his house shaking strangely. Obtaining a key from the property's landlord, authorities entered the home and discovered a pungent odor. Police asked where his wife was, to which he replied that she was sleeping upstairs.
Ooh. No, she's not.
No, she's not. So that's when law enforcement discovered the dead bodies of 42-year-old Megan, 13-year-old Alec, 11-year-old Tyler, and 4-year-old Zoe, all in one bedroom in deep states of decomposition. They all had stab wounds in their stomachs. They were all smothered to death with crucifixes gripped in their hands. Zoe had decomposed to the point that authorities initially couldn't identify her until they examined Megan's corpse and saw Zoe's body beneath her feet.
Ooh, yikes.
The family dog Breezy was lying dead on the floor in her dog bed in the master bath. Mm-hmm.
What is wrong with this man?
You wanted the dog to come to the afterlife too, I guess.
I didn't...
Yeah, in the master bedroom. So Tony slept with the bodies for almost 3 weeks.
Well, like, first of all, psychologically speaking, that's crazy to be doing any of this. But it's so interesting to me, like what I was saying specifically about the dog, is usually when people do this kind of stuff, it's because of personal attachments to like the family, or they're feeling like they're getting something out of it. I feel like it's not often you hear that they go after the dog too. That is, to me, hinting at like definitely something deeper than just financial trouble.
I would really agree with you. Really strongly agree.
Yeah.
So Tony informed the authorities that he had taken a handful of Benadryl to try and kill himself, which is the most pathetic way he could have done that.
That's horse shit. There's no way.
He's like,
literally,
I took a couple of Benadryl and it didn't work.
I promise you, not to say that like I've thought about it, but if that was the direction you were going to take and be like, I need something in my house that takes me out, I don't think Benadryl's what you would pick.
There are far more effective things you could do.
Certainly. There certainly is.
It's just a fact. So they transported Tony to the hospital where he confessed to murdering his family. He was charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of animal cruelty for killing their dog. Autopsies showed that Megan, Alec, and Tyler had ingested large amounts of Benadryl and were stabbed. They were unable to tell if Zoe had been stabbed, but she had also been drugged with Benadryl. In custody, Tony recanted his confession and provided his version of events through phone calls with his sister. He claims that he has no recollection of the crime up until the day he got arrested. It is just one big blank. Tony's story changed after his arrest. He claimed that after he'd confessed, he actually wasn't home and the killings took place. In custody is when he claimed it was actually his wife who killed them. Then the story changed to a murder-suicide pact with his wife. But eventually, as we discussed, the truth came out and it really was him who killed his family. Yeah, Tony was arrested. Yeah. Tony was arrested and charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of animal cruelty. He pled not guilty to the charges. The trial began in 2021, and by 2022, he was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. In a landmark move, the judge added 1 year to his sentence for animal cruelty charges stemming from him having killed the family dog. What an OG judge. Like, honestly, though, I respect that.
Oh, yeah.
So, Judge Keith A. Carson called Tony a destroyer of worlds, and noting that not one of these lives taken was less valuable than the other. And that's all to leave you on, like, the most depressing note of all time.
Wicked. Yeah, this guy's an idiot. Like,
he's the worst.
Big dumb head.
Like, he literally had it all.
Yeah, like, literally, like, everything you said, I'm like, and for what?
Literally
and for what? Like, it was all completely pointless.
Like, you had a wife and kids and a house and a well-run business, and then you, like, went a little bit too far over your head, and you just kept going. You just kept, like, doubling down and making it worse.
Spiraled all the way to senseless murder and violence.
Yeah, like, you set the bar. The bar was so low. and you somehow managed to literally bury to the center, the core of the fucking earth.
And then threw it to the other side.
And
like,
then fall below it.
And it's so bizarre to me, too. Like, anytime you do share a story that's like a family annihilator story, it's always after financial troubles that they don't talk to their wife about. Like, they don't ever at some point be like, oh, hey, this is our situation and we need help.
Like, oops, I guess we need to file bankruptcy. Whoops.
Yeah, it never goes to that. It's always, oops, I am going to literally remove you off this planet. Like, that is an escalation that is not necessary, and I don't understand why it keeps happening.
Like, instead of just having an adult conversation with you, I'm actually just gonna murder you and say nothing.
And you know what's even worse? You're gonna have an adult conversation out of that. Get off the keyboard. Sorry, my cat's here. You're gonna have an adult conversation anyways, but you basically had two options: either have it with your wife or have it in front of a judge.
And with the police.
Right? Like, it's not gonna go away.
Like, you're literally just making it worse and worse with every move you make.
Mm-hmm. No, for real. But I guess that I got nothing more to add. Just that's a shitty human being.
It's done.
Yeah, if you like today's episode, make sure to leave us a review on wherever you're listening to our podcast. You can listen to us literally anywhere, especially where you're listening to us right now. And then if you want, you can go to our website, which is www.wheelofcrime.com if you want to check us out on there. We have our email, which is wheelofcrime@gmail.com if you want to look on there. We have our Patreon, which is wheelofcrime@patreon.com. And lastly, we do have our social media, which is Wheel of Crime on Facebook, X, Instagram, and TikTok. If you want to check us out on there. And besides that, I feel like that is pretty much it.
Yes, that's it. That's all. And we'll see you next week for another new episode. Okay, bye.
Bye.